Adams, North Region. Age group 11 to 14, Niamat and Hibatul Jamil, North Region. Sack race competition over 30s, Islamiyat Anishere, first position. Under 30s, Hera Adams, London Region. Colour ball picking over 30s, Azizat Ayumba, Midlands Region. Nasrat competition 7 to 10, Hibatul Rove, North Region. (11 to 14), Nusrat Abdul Shahid, East Region, and Fazilat Muhammad, London Region. That brings us to the end of the sports competition, and we'll move on to the Ismail BK Ado Awards for Lajna, starting with Ayatollah Salahuddin for an original piece of creative writing selected for publication in Young Writers Anthology, Year 5. Hannah Sumera Ponu for winning TRACC Award for being a responsible learner. Fariha Idris for achieving 100% during the 2024-2025 year at Belleville Primary School. Faiza Idris for winning the Ashcroft Booker Prize, Year 7. Alhamdulillah Sadiq for her achievements in English drama and courage in her Presidential Award. Hasbunallah Sadiq for obtaining 8 A's, 2 B's and 1 C in GCSE. Namodi Sahar Kalon for completing a BA with first class in English and creative writing from the University of Birmingham.
Oh, I can present it here. Okay.
Best behaved Lajna at the Youth Residential. Girls.
Boys.
Fatima Motojo.
Tariq.
Nimat Bashir. And Firdaus Ahmed. Prizes for exhibition: 3rd position, Midlands; 2nd position, London; and 1st position, West Region for exhibition. This brings us to the completion of the Lajna and Nasrat academic and sports competitions. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. Now we have prize distribution for the men's side, and Ibrahim Bonso will come and announce the winners. Yes?
Assalamu alaikum, respected National Amir Sab. Could I humbly request National Amir Sab to help us in the presentation of the first category awards in both academics and in sports. Could I please request those collecting the award to come through my left and exit through the right? So, respected National Amir Sab, I will start with the academics, starting with the 7 to 10 boys. The first category is Tilawat. First position goes to Zaidan Shitu of Midlands Region. Okay. The second category is the Azan. The first position goes to Zaidan Shitu, again, of Midlands Region. Will I please request members to recite Barakallahu Lakum as they receive the award? Now for prepared speech, the first position, 7 to 10 boys, goes to Kambar Kalon of London Region. Barakallahu Lakum. The next age group is the boys 11 to 15. The first category is Tilawat. First position goes to Abdul Shafi Owusu Kunedu of North Region. And the next item is Azan. The first position again goes to Abdul Shafi Owusu Kunedu of North Region. We have the prepared speech. First position, boys 11 to 15, goes to Abdul Aziz of East Region. Barakallahu lakum. Next category is the men under 30, Tilawat. The first position goes to Masood Oliwo of Midlands Region. Now we move on to the extempore speech. First position goes to Abdul Hamid Adam of South Region. Abdul Hamid Adam, South Region, men under 30, extempore speech. Prepared speech is the next. Talha Owusu Kunedu of North Region, prepared speech under 30, first position. We move on to the men over 30, Tilawat. First position goes to Jibril Shito of Midlands Region. Now to the extempore speech. First position goes to Tahir Ahmed Toure of South Region. Now prepared speech. First position, men over 30, goes to Adibayo Adijomo of North Region. Then we have the combined team quiz. There was a tie in the first position for the combined team quiz. So if I could request the captains of London Region and East Region to come for the combined team quiz. Combined team quiz, we've got London Region and East Region. Have we got the captains here? Combined team quiz, London Region and East Region, or any of the captains from either of the region can collect the prizes. Respected Amir Saab, we move on to the sports category. Boys 7 to 10. The first item is the penalty shootout. Go to Fadel Asamoah of West Region. This is the sports. Boys 7 to 10, Fadel Asamoah of West Region. Then we have the boys 7 to 10, 100 meters, Songtar Abdullahi of South Region. Then we have the boys 11 to 15, penalty shootout, Faiz Bakari of Midlands Region. Barakallahu lakum. Faiz Bakari, Midlands Region, 11 to 15, penalty shootout. Then we have the 100 meters, 11 to 15 boys, Naveed Asamoah of West Region. Then we have the 4x100 meters, 11 to 15. That's actually a combined competition. We have North Region, 4x100. Can we have the captain, 4x100, North Region? Then in the boys combined football, we have North and West. So the captain for North Region and West Region, which was a combined team, is Abdul Shafi. Abdul Shafi, combined football. Just the captain, yeah, you can collect for. Then we have the men under 30. The men under 30 tug of war, the captain for the West region. Captain for the West region, men under 30. The tug of war. You have shot put, men under 30, Dawood Ofori Jomo of North region. Can we have Dawood Ofori Jomo of North region? Or if we have the president or anyone from North region to collect on his behalf. Then 4 by 100. Okay, so North, Dawood Ofori, on behalf of Dawood Ofori, short put. Then we move on to the 4 by 100, North region, the captain of North region to collect on their behalf. Under 30, still under 30, 100 meters, the first position goes to Nasser Ahmed Owusu Konedu of North region. We move on to the men over 30. Could I have the captain of the tug of war, North region, to collect on their behalf? First position, tug of war over 30. And there was a group penalty shootout. The group penalty shootout over 30. The first position goes to Midlands region. If I could have the captain of the Midlands region, the group penalty shootout. Now the over 30 shot put. Over 30 shot put, first position goes to Ahmed Owusu Konedu of North region. Ahmed Owusu Konedu of North region, Barakallahu lakum. Over 30 arm wrestling. Could I have Jibril Shitu of Midlands region to collect the first position prize? Barakallahu lakum. Respected Amir Sab, last but not the least, is the champion of the over 30 100 meters race, Ahmed Owusu Konedu of North region. Barakallahu lakum. Respected Amir Sab, that ends the prizes for the academics and sports. And I hand over to the National Secretary Talim for PAAMA to do the distribution of the Al-Hajj IBK award. Ibrahim Mutajo Saib. Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So this is the presentation of the Ismail BK Ado Award for 2025. I'm starting with Abdul Alim Aina for achieving 100% attendance during the 2024-2025 year at Ashgate Primary School in year 2. Barakallahu lakum. Then I call on Atau Walid Bono for winning the Star Award for contributing in class and showing kindness in year 3. Atau Wahid Bono. Barakallahu lakum. Can I have Farhan Bakari come forward for working beyond the standard for his year group in mathematics and English in year 4? Barakallahu lakum. Can I have Abdul Aziz Musa come forward for excellent achievement in poetry and learning French in year 7? Barakallahu lakum. Jaid Bache for achieving 100% attendance, active participation in mathematical art and physical education, and winning Walworth Academy Bronze Cares Award for year 9. Barakallahu lakum. Fazal Idris is not here, but his dad will collect on his behalf. Fazal won a silver medal in the UK Maths Trust and Ashcroft Technology Academy's Intermediate Mathematical Challenge and for winning inter-house quiz for year 10. Barakallahu alaikum. Now, those were the awards signed by President Saab. The next ones I'm going to be calling are signed by His Holiness, may Allah be his helper, Mr. Mansour Hamad. I'm calling on Sharif Hakim for completing an MA with distinction in Education and Development from the University of East Anglia. Barakallahu alaikum. Can I call on Shafiq Saab to take this next award, please?
The last but not the least award is for Dr. Abayomi Ibrahim Mutajo for completing a PhD in Management Consumer Research for the University of Glasgow. So Ibrahim Saab, please. And that concludes the award, the IBK Ado Award. Jazakumullah.
Right. Now, the next item on the agenda is a question and answer session with the Emir. This is something that, under the directive of Hazur Anwar, we started some months ago. Basically, what happened was that originally our youth were going to Hyde Park, where they were meeting some of these so-called non-Ahmadi scholars, and they were being questioned on certain issues where they were not competent enough to answer, and the opposition non-Ahmadis were putting them on social media saying this is the knowledge of the Ahmadi scholars. So Hazur Anwar asked us to start a program under the Tabligh department, where all the very critical issues that they were raising were answered. Then we felt that there were a lot of questions in people's minds about the Nizam, about the Jamaat, about the way things happen. And in order to have complete transparency, the Emir should travel up and down the country to answer the questions that people have in their mind. And I took with me certain scholars, because the question came up related to fiqh and other issues. So we have been traveling up and down the country. Some of you may have attended one or two of these question and answer sessions. And today, your Sadar, Tommy Carlo Sahib, asked me if we could spend a little bit of time answering questions from membership here today. So I believe that there are already some questions that were asked earlier, and I would now request Dr. Ijazur Rahman Sahib, Naib Amir Sahib, to please come and ask the questions.
Jazakallah Amir Sahib. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I'm pleased, Amir Sahib, these questions mostly relate to simple matters which I think they want your advice on. The first question that I will start with is the long-standing issue of Jamaat meetings being held in Urdu. So they mention that in a mulaqat with Hazur Aqda Sayyidullah Ta'ala bin Assil Aziz, respected Amir Sahib assured us we won't have issues with Jamaat meetings being conducted in Urdu. There seems to be a significant improvement, but we still get some Jamaats doing it. What advice does Amir Sahib give to PAAMA members who do not attend Jamaat function when faced with such situations?
Jazakallah. It's a very important question. And I think, there are now, by the grace of Allah, we have a very diverse Jamaat. it's not only people from Pakistan, but we have a lot of Arabs, we have now a lot of the English New Ahmadis, Africans, and people from different backgrounds, Russians, Ukrainians. We have, by the grace of Allah, so many different Ahmadis now who are joining in large numbers, even in this country. And Hazur's directive is that meetings at the local Jamaat level should be held in English, but translation should be provided for those people who may not understand English. And that can apply not only to Urdu speaking, but can apply to other languages as well. Why not, if there are Arabs who don't understand Arabic, why don't we have translation for them as well? So the whole idea is that everyone who attends the meetings should be able to understand what has been discussed in that meeting. So I can reassure you that it is my intention to ensure that anywhere where I receive knowledge that is not maintained, inshallah, I will make sure personally to make sure that it is enforced in that Jamaat. So please don't stop going to meetings just because one of the office bearers is not observing that. Bring it to my attention immediately, and inshallah, I'll deal with it immediately, inshallah.
Jazakallah, Amir Sahib. If you allow me, can I say a few words on the same
yes,
thing?
please.
They were asking for advice as well, and Amir Sahib has very kindly and graciously said that this behavior from any office bearer should not stop you going to those meetings. I have had personal experience of going to Burkina Faso, which is a French-speaking country. And I have attended many of their Jamaat functions and Khutbat-e-Jummah, where you are sitting and everything is being held in French. And it obviously is something which is odd and you feel alienated. One of the ways, as I said, PAAMA members or other members from other cultures who speak other languages, I think most of the members we have coming here from India, Pakistan background, themselves have got a very low confidence in speaking English. If one of you, or you learn just a few phrases of Urdu, kya hal hai? Aaj meeting kaisi thi? You know, just a small 5-10 sentences, nothing more than that. It breaks ice, and you will see that it will help immensely those people who are hesitant. What to talk of the meetings being conducted, it is the interaction between people, I'm sorry, after the meeting, before the meeting, and people feel alienated. You see, it becomes an internet hit when one of my brothers is speaking in or reciting a poem in Urdu, isn't it? People are fascinated by that. Just learning 5 or 10 small sentences, even rote learning them, to break the ice. It will help possibly the other side to start speaking in broken English and feel confident that it is nothing wrong with them as well. So I thought, as a psychiatrist, I'll let you know. Maybe it helps some people, maybe it doesn't.
I'd like to add something more. You see, we here have had immigration from around the world. And particularly large numbers came from India and Pakistan, but some people came from Bangladesh, some people came from Sri Lanka, some people came from other countries. And the thing is that was in the 60s and 70s. Now they have children who are born in this country. And those children, in most cases, only speak English. So I think it's only a matter of time that the elder generation who used to only know one language, you're going to get majority of the people in this country, especially the children born in this country who are now, by the grace of Allah, Ansar, some of them, they will inshallah be speaking in English. And I think it's only a temporary thing, and this will be resolved within the next, I would say, very, very short period. But I would say to my brothers, don't stop. Because you see, it's not only you who are facing that, it is our young Khudam and Lajna who may be from the Asian subcontinent but were born here will have the same problem. So that does not mean you should stop coming because of that, because they will stop coming as well. And that will break the Jamaat. Keep coming, let me know, and inshallah I promise you that I will try and put it right immediately, inshallah.
Jazakallah, Amir Sahib. The next question is that some PAAMA members are so busy that they don't have time to attend Jamaat events and don't pay chanda under the excuse that they have lot of debt which they incurred because they needed to borrow lots of money to come to the UK. They may seem to have a genuine reason, but is that right? So that's the first part of the question. And how do we address that? And how do we balance our Jamaat events and work life?
Now that's a very, very important question. Remember that we're all immigrants, including myself. When I came to this country with my parents, we brought nothing with us. I'm an African, by the way. For those who don't know, I was born in Kenya, and I'm very proud to be an African and a Kenyan African. And I have always declared wherever I've attended Pan Am functions that I am part of Africa. I'm very proud of it. Now, when we came to this country in the 1960s, we did not have anything, we didn't bring anything with us. The argument that's been presented that we both came here with debt and everything, a lot of us came in the similar circumstances. And in fact, I can tell you from my personal example that we were at that stage so poor that I used to do a paper round in the morning. I used to get up 5 o'clock in the morning to do a paper round. And I also used to work in a grocery shop on Saturdays, and I used to get £1.50 for my full day's work. And for 75p, I used to bring groceries for home, and the rest 75p was my pocket money for the rest of the week. Now, I was a very good hockey player, and I was selected for London schoolboys, but they played hockey on Saturdays. And when I was called to go and play hockey, I didn't go because I couldn't give up my Saturday job. And my teacher was so upset with me. He said, "You've been, selected for London schoolboys, and you can't be bothered to turn up." I couldn't tell him that I could not afford to miss my Saturday job, to go and play hockey. So people who think that they are special and they have special circumstances, no, we have all been through the same cycle. And we never left. One of the things my father did, he said that he wanted us to stay close to the Jamaat. So he bought a house close to Masjid Fazal, although the rest of our family went and lived in other parts of the UK. But he said, "No, I want my children to grow up in the mosque." And from the very early age, any time that was left, we used to spend in the mosque. And even in Kenya, when we were young, we lived about half an hour away from our mosque in Nairobi, where we lived. And 7 days a week, my father used to take us for Maghrib and Isha prayers 7 days a week. And the thing was that we were half an hour away, so we had to walk with him. And we used to really enjoy walking with him because he used to tell us stories about Nabis, about Khulafas. He used to sometimes make up stories to teach us something. And we used to love his stories, so we used to love walking with him. And then on the way back, we would hear the second half of the story. But when we were there in the mosque, between Maghrib and Isha prayers, one of the parents would seat us all down and they would tell us other things. So that 7 days a week that we spend in the mosque during that period, by the grace of Allah, bonded us so strongly with the mosque that today we can never dream of not being in the mosque. So I would say to the parents here, bond your children with the mosque. Those of you who have done so, by the grace of Allah, you can see their children are growing up to be very healthy, open-minded individuals. And Jamaat is the best forum. Where else can you see children being trained to do speeches, to do competitions? No other Muslim organizations offer this type of venue. We are being trained. Even when you go to do jobs, if you learn how to present in front of public, that will be a great asset when you go and sit in front of your business colleagues and you're able with confidence to present. So it is very, very important that coming to the mosque gives you that ability to learn to gain in confidence. Then, we have jalsas here. At jalsas, by the grace of Allah, I see a lot of our children coming to these jalsas. And my father used to say to me when we were young, that you may not understand everything that Imam Sahib is saying, but you will be able to get something from what he said. And I now test my grandchildren when they come to these jalsas. I test them to find out what did I say. Normally, if I talk about computers, they always remember that, right? They are very interested when I start talking about computers. But alhamdulillah, it is very important that we should bring our children to all these jalsas. They will learn a lot of things. And most important of all, they will learn discipline and patience. To be able to sit down and, listen is one of the biggest things that children can learn. And that discipline will help them throughout their life, inshallah.
Amisa Brail Saab wants to say something.
Ji, Haji, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Just wanted to add one or two points.
It's not on. Is his mic on?
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes. So there's two things I want to mention. Firstly, part of the question was with regards to financial difficulty. And as Amisa has presented his own example as well. But what we find in the Holy Quran, Allah the Almighty says that لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ, that you cannot attain true righteousness until you spend from that what you love. And I remember this question was asked by one of the delegation from America to Huzur. And Huzur said that Chanda is in fact a sacrifice. Chanda in essence is a sacrifice. And it's not about the amount. Every one of us don't earn the same amount. But whatever is in our capacity to give, we should give. And to the point, Huzur said that if there comes a time in person's life where he cannot give anything, then the answer is not just to ignore, but to write to Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. And there may be the time that the Jamaat needs to help that person. And Huzur says that there comes a time when that person who's in need of help, Jamaat will help him. But the answer is not that we neglect and we don't do anything with regards to it. Last thing I want to mention is we are using the word Jamaat over and over again. For us to really instill the importance of Jamaat within our children, we need to understand what Jamaat actually is. The Prophet ﷺ 1400 years ago tells us that the Messiah and the Mahdi will come. And we're fortunate enough to accept that Imam of the age. And we're in the 5th caliphate of that Imam. And the Prophet ﷺ, there are numerous ahadith where he described the end of times, and he mentions that my ummah would split into 72 sects. Kulluhum finnar, all of them would be misguided except one. And that would be a Jama'ah who would have an Imam. And he says that, and the Sahaba ask him over and over again, Ya Rasulullah, what would happen at that time? And he says, there will be people who would speak my language, Arabic, very fluently, yet they would misguide people. So Sahaba say, Ya Rasulullah, what do we do then? He again says, Talzim Jamaat al-Muslimina wa imamahum. Stick to the Imam of the age. Jamaat al-Muslimin wa imamahum. This is the blessed community. This is the Jamaat that we have, the blessings that we have, as Amisa was mentioning, where we're able to come to the mosque, we're able to gather on so many events. This is something that I have non-Ahmadi friends and they mentioned, how are you even able to do it? How are you even able to gather and do these events week after week? So this in itself is a sign for us. And unless we don't instill the importance of this word Jama'ah in our children, they will not really understand.
Jazakallah, Murabi Sahib. Misab, I'll go to the next question. I'm going to combine two of them. One relates to how can we encourage cross-continental intermarriages within the Jamaat, and how can we use Jamaat and PAAMA in particular to enhance conducive social cohesion, particularly for our children and youth.
You see, one thing that is very, very important, in America, I find one of my own nieces, she married an American African. And there, I think the Jamaat is probably more integrated than perhaps we are here. And I think it is very, very important that this integration should take place. You know, I have always said when we have marriages, I remember that when I was a young man, we used to have Hadatullah Banu Sahib. One of the Banus is here, I know. And Hadatullah Banu Sahib always used to come whenever we had Bakariamals and everything. He would come. He would always be the first one to come. And he would always be the first one to be called to come. And, you know, one day he said to me, he said, whenever people need Bakariamal, they always remember Banu. But whenever there's a social event or a marriage, nobody remembers Banu, right? And this is why I have always said, when we have weddings, I've said that there should be an integration. When we have weddings, we should invite people from different backgrounds. We have people from Africa, we have people from Middle East, we have people from Far East. We should bring a collection of all of them. But also remember that you also have to make an attempt. You know, those people like Tommy or Shafiq, you know, they are very, very, very integrated into the Jamaat now by the grace of Allah. You know, he's also a Sadr of his Jamaat. There are a number of now, by the grace of Allah, a number of people I can name now who are Sadrs of Jamaat, where there is no other African person in there, but they're still president of those Jamaats. So the thing is that the responsibility also lies with us to make sure that we go and be part of that. We should become active members of that Jamaat. And then slowly and slowly, when you become active, you'll see. Now you remember, what's his name, our Sadr in America? Sorry, Adiba Sahib. Adiba Sahib.
Deba Sahib, yeah.
Sorry, Deba Sahib.
Deba Sahib.
Now, he studied in Jamia here, and he is become going from here, he's become the Sadr in USA. And he's a leading light there, representing Africa, even my country, right? So I want more people to come forward and be adibas of this world. Be leaders. You have the ability to come and show leadership. And by the grace of Allah, now we have a number of young men who are Sadrs of Jamaats, you know, who by the grace of Allah, I'm always so pleased that they're leading those Jamaats and they're showing leadership. And that's what I'd like to see from everyone. You know, come forward, give time. It needs commitment. You can't say that, you know, I'll give a couple of hours here or there. It needs a lot of commitment. You know, as I said, I grew up in the mosque from a very early age. All my life was spent in the mosque. Academically, I became a chartered accountant, no problem, in spite of being in the mosque. And alhamdulillah, you know, I've been able to, work-wise, I've been able to do very well as well. But it is the blessing of mosque. Those of you who know me, since Khilafat came to this country, you know that I have been active within the Jamaat in different posts, but it has not impacted upon me being able to earn my income either. So the two can be done together. And as I mentioned, when I came here, we had nothing. So don't feel that because you got nothing, you can't do it. You can do it. Allah is the one who gives the rizq. Allah is the one who provides. So have strong belief in Allah. And once you have that strong belief in Allah, and as Rabbi Sahib said, that you have to give something of what Allah provides you. Because if you don't, if you just feel that everything is yours and you're not giving anything back, then Allah does not bless. So for you to be able to give chanda and to give to charity is very key to your progress in terms of financial well-being as well in this country as well.
Jazakallah, Misa. Rahil Sahib, you wanted to say something?
Just, Misa, with your permission, I think one of the things, because I've been blessed to work in the history department under Amir Sahib, and the question was with regards to, we all belong to different nations and tribes. Allah says, "Li ta'arafu." The only reason Allah has made us so that we can know one another. He says, "Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum," that the best among you is the most righteous. This is directly in the Holy Quran. So for me, I know that my identity in terms of just introduction is a Pakistani or South Asian. Whereas Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu says that we were the worst of people and Allah the Almighty gave us honor through Islam. Islam is our honor. Ahmadiyyat is our badge that we should wear with the most proud. When we have this conviction in ourselves, then a lot of these problems would go out of the window and we would not have these issues. Second point is we need to know our tariq, we need to know our history, especially those early members of African diaspora within America when Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Sahib went there, and others who were involved there from Nigeria and Ghana. They were the first lawyer I know from the Ahmadiyya Jamaat in 1920s came and he studied here and he became the first lawyer in the UK Jamaat. He stayed at a mission house and became very successful and went back to establish the Jamaat. So this history is very important. We should all know, because unless we don't know where we came from, we don't know where we're going. So it's also something very, very important for us.
Jazakallah, Rabbi Sahib. And I think the question also related to the youth and how we can integrate them. I think the problem being mentioned of intercultural marriages is genuine. But I believe that change is not going to happen in my generation. It is going to happen in these youngsters sitting in front of me. So the more they get integrated into the Jamaat, and in the future, I'm sure things will continue to change. It takes time to change fixed mindsets. And unfortunately, people like, my age come from a fixed mindset kind of stuff. So these youngsters, getting them involved in the Jamaat, getting them into the multicultural thing, which they are in their schools here. So nobody feels odd in that sense. At least majority won't, because there is one question relating to racism as well downstairs. So I'll come to that in a minute.
See, I'd like to add one more point. You have a best example sitting right next to you of integration, yes? Now the thing is that, we always find comfort in trying to find our partners from those people that we are close to. It happens. It's even in the Asian, it's not one unit.
Yes.
There are lots of different units within that diaspora. So what happens is that people will look at people who are hamkuf, as Prophet has said. Hamkuf is where you find that you match with each other, right? And that is where you find comfort, and that's where it becomes easier for marriages to be successful. But these youngsters who are growing up, they now are mixing together in a different way from us who came from Africa or Asia or everything else. They are the real mix, and they're the ones who will bring us hope in integration fully, inshallah. And you will see that very soon, inshallah, we'll start seeing more intermarriages taking place. Like I said, Tommy is a great example here, and we can follow that, alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah, Amir Saab. Next is a more administrative question, Amir Saab. What is the best way of applying to do a school work experience, normally done in GCSEs or A-levels, within Jamaat institutions?
You see, by the grace of Allah, one of the most important things in the Jamaat is both religious education and secular education. Our Khulafas throughout have given great importance both to religious and secular education. And you know that at Jalsa Salana, we award the special prizes to those people who have attained high standard in the academic world. Now, in order to make sure that our children have the very best education to start with, we in the UK have started something called the Noor Academy. The Noor Academy has got professional teachers who actually prepare our children for GCSEs and A-levels. And I would recommend that those parents who have young children that they should immediately find out about Noor Academy. It's an online academy. And recently, the event that took place, I got so many good reviews. We have almost 2,000 students of the Noor Academy now. And, you know, they are getting secular education, they're getting religious education there, and they have professional teachers teaching. So those of you who need help with their children, they should immediately get in touch with the Noor Academy. Besides that, obviously, in terms, we have various academies here. We have ITKA, the International Talim Quran Academy, which is something which is teaching some 3,000 to 4,000 people around the world. It is based in the UK. It used to be in Pakistan, but when the authorities in Pakistan started making it difficult for us to even read the Holy Quran there, then Hazur bought the academy here, and the UK Jamaat had the honor of organizing that academy. And Hafiz Fazle Rabi Sahib, by the grace of Allah, runs that academy, and it is for the whole world. People from Australia to America are learning from this academy, and there's some 700 children from the UK who are learning from this academy, the Holy Quran. You can do Hifz-e-Quran as well. We've got that as a separate item as well. Then we have the Aisha Academy, which is for ladies. The ladies who want to know, a one-year course of intense religious education, then please join the Aisha Academy, which is, again, a great institution, and each year is producing a large number of young ladies, who will become mothers, and they will be able to bring up their children with the knowledge that is so much required for us to be able to give to our children.
Jazakallah, Amir Saab. They also, thank you very much for that very comprehensive answer. They also wanted to ask about the work experience, which normally GCSE students come for a week, like to work in an office environment and stuff and get a certificate. A-level can do for a couple of weeks, I think. So is it a possibility somebody to come and work in Tabligh office, your office, or any other office to get that work experience?
100%. Those of you who want some work experience, they should contact my office, and inshallah we will find you one of the offices where you can come and get work experience, and we'll give you the appropriate certificate. But besides that, Sanatul Tijarat department can also find you placements in outside companies as well. So if those of you who do want some work experience, please come. Also, we have the, what do we call them?
Doctors Association, Lawyers Association.
Doctors Association, Lawyers Association, at IAAE.
Yes.
These organizations also can give you experience. Then we also have the here, what do you call them? When people come, students and companies come here.
Yeah, to do the fairs.
Yeah, what is called?
The Senato Tijarat.
Careers, yes. We also have careers fairs here where we bring lots of outside companies who you can come and meet, and they will be able to either give you employment if you don't have employment, or they'll be able to give you advice of what you need to do. We have universities who also come here at the same time to give advice if you want to join those universities. So there are a lot of options if people want to take benefit of it.
Jazakallah, Misa. We are running out of time. I have got one question from ladies' side, administrative, but I'll read it all the same. The Sadr Sahib al-Lajna has said that Peckham is the oldest Jamaat, 40 years old. What about Peckham Mosque?
Can I ask her, what about Peckham Mosque? What have you done to get Peckham Mosque up and running? It's down to your local Sadr. I'm sure somebody sitting very close to me knows a lot about it.
Yes.
You know, I would love to have a mosque in Peckham. It's the oldest Jamaat. I think we've tried a couple of times, but I haven't quite succeeded. But you have to take the initiative locally. I will give you every support. Take the initiative. Okay?
Jazakallah, Misa. We're running out of time, so if you allow me, I can read some questions which you may add into your closing speech, which you can cover in your closing speech, which is, what is your vision for PAAMA over next 5 to 10 years? And as Amir UK, what do you personally consider the biggest strength and biggest challenge for PAAMA? And what are Amir Saab's recollections of growing up in Africa? Jazakallah, Misa.
Jazakallah. Jazakallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Respected Tommy Khalil Saab, Sadr, and Nazri Ala, the ladies, and all the participants of this Ijtema, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to be here for this closing session. As I mentioned many times, by the grace of Allah, I am an African through and through. And I feel that I represent Africa in the best way I can in this country. I was born in Kenya, and I lived my early childhood in Kenya. And I have very fond memories because our house was always filled with people who at that stage, later on they became leaders, people like Amri Abadi Sahib, who was, I'm sure that some of you may know, he was a regular visitor to our house, and whenever he came to Kenya, he would come and stay with us. And Odinga Oginga, who was eventually the deputy president of Kenya, he was my father's personal friend. And also the Amir of, the ex-Amir of Uganda, who translated the Quran into the Ugandan language, he used to come to Nairobi on a regular basis, and he'd stay in our house. And whilst he was translating the Holy Quran. So we grew up in a house always filled with African brothers living with us. Although we had a very small house, we had a 2-bedroom house, but you need to have a big heart. You can always find room, you know, and my parents were like that. They had a big heart, and they always welcome people. So the thing is that this is the atmosphere in which we grew up in Africa. So when we came to this country, there was a very small Jamaat. Originally, when we came here, the London Mosque used to be closed during the winter months because we didn't have proper heating. And we used to say prayers in 62 Melrose Road, in the drawing room of 62 Melrose Road during the winter months. And during the summer months, there used to be a curtain, and the men used to say prayers in the front and women at the back. This is, I'm talking about Fazl Mosque. So you can imagine how big the Jamaat was. And I remember attending the first Ijtema, which was done at Wimbledon Common near the windmill. And it was a combined Qudam and Ansar Ijtema, and Hazrat Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib came and distributed the prizes. Then, as the Jamaat started to grow, we had a lot of people from Africa who came here. A lot of both Asians and Africans, they all came here from Africa. And the Jamaat started to grow. And then when Khalifa Salis came here, he saw that the Jamaat was growing. So he asked the Jamaat to establish 10 mosques or 10 mission houses around the country in the big centers. So Birmingham, Bradford, Huddersfield, Glasgow, and here in Hounslow. So 10 centers were established. And at that stage, Hazrat Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib said that as the Jamaat is growing, he felt that there was need to build a center at Fazl Mosque. Now, where you have the Mahmood Hall at this moment in time, I remember as youngsters when we came here, these were orchards, gardens. Apple trees, pear trees, plum trees used to grow there, and we used to eat from those fruits. And then Hazrat Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib wrote to Khalifa Salis and said, the UK Jamaat is growing, so we need a hall facility and some offices for ourselves. So Huzur gave permission, but the permission was, Chaudhry Sahib also asked permission that he wanted to build it himself, pay for it himself.